What's your Wi-Fi here?
The password is profit share. Now that I've recorded that for the entire planet today, but anyway, that's all good. So welcome everybody. We're going to do an extension of .loop training. Most of you have had an intro at some point or another with Erin on sort of the meat and potatoes of getting into the system. I'm going to try and for those of you that are online, at some point I may switch over to the iPad towards the end, and I'm not sure if I can continue and extend the meeting going from one device to another, so I may end up disconnecting you and then reconnecting you again, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because I don't think I can pair the two devices. I'm on my Mac at the moment, and continue the meeting in one continuous thing, so bear with me if I hang up on you at some point. I will tell you before I hang up on you. If that counts for anything. So the idea today, I'm thrilled to have this many people here today. This is wonderful. What I'd like to do today is to continue what I've been doing sort of I'll call it my traveling road show, as I've gone to the Valley, I've gone to Elmsdale, I've gone to Lunenburg, etc., and I've done it here once already when I did an iPad class, is to try and give you all some, I'm going to call it boots on the ground, practical real estate uses and tips with respect to using either your iPad or .loop, which is a different layer of what Erin's teaching you, because what Erin's teaching you is really how to manipulate it and how to get in and how to save loops and how to set your settings and set up your profile. And we can touch on that a little bit, but I'd like to really focus on how to work with clients, how to work with lawyers, how to work with agents on this, because that's the piece that Erin can't do because she's not a realtor, and I really have no interest in crossing over her technical expertise with respect to the setup, okay? So I'm gonna be showing it to you to start on the computer, and can you guys online see my screen?
No.
Okay, I have it clicked as being able to see my screen. Are you on the phone or are you on a computer? That would be the first question, I guess. Yeah, well, I've got Cecil, I have not on mute. You can also type in the chat box at the bottom, by the way. Just remember that everybody sitting in the room will see what you're typing, so be nice, because it's up on the giant monitor in the room. So the idea is that what we're going to do is go through it on the computer. If you understand how to do it in principle in what I'm going to show you on the computer, it's exactly the same on the iPad or on any other device, except that it's a little bit more mobile in its look, okay? But the concepts and the principles are exactly the same. There's a couple of things you cannot do on the iPad that you can do when you're on the web version of it. So I wanted to focus on that first, and then we'll deal with some specific sort of iPad pieces after, okay? So, sorry, was someone talking? No?
They're talking.
Oh, okay. So I'm also really happy to have Cindy here with us, because Cindy is on the receiving end of your stuff, and for her to understand better what you're doing and why you're doing certain things and what I'm telling you will hopefully help Cindy understand what's happening on her end, okay? This is supposed to be interactive. This isn't me, I have 0 notes. This is really, we're gonna go through it in pieces and, be able to answer your questions. So we might veer a little bit, but that's the idea of this being a small group where we can ask questions and learn, okay? So who here and or who online is actually using .loop at this moment? I've got 1, 2, 3 out of, 8? Okay, myself, I would be I am at the point where I'm going to be honest, probably 95% of my transactions are done, including listing documents, by .loop. Yes. Why? Because it's a much better use of my time, and there's an incredible paper trail that we're going to talk about that comes with it.
But don't you sit down with clients?
Yes. Yes, I do. So I'm going to explain applications to this to not lose the personal touch to your service, because that's where Layla's brain is going. She just didn't put it that way. Is that correct? Yes. Now she's giving me a saucy face for those of you that are online. So, was I wrong? No. Okay, so I'm a huge advocate of personal service. I under no circumstances want you to eliminate personal service. Dot Loop is no different than anything else where it is a tool to enhance your value proposition. So for anybody that attended the class that I taught on 5% commission, this is another piece to extending your value proposition to why they want to work with you and the types of training and services and tools that you have available that maybe the average bear out there does not, okay? So let's talk first about any form of electronic signature and how it works. So I'm going to pick on poor Rose over here for a second, because Rose was very passionate and very excited to start using Dot Loop, and is the first realtor in KW history. And in all of the deals that I do, to run into really challenging lawyers. It's not really the word I want to use, but I'm going to be very professional in my interpretation of this. Diplomatic in my statement. So we had a conversation yesterday that I think I want to start with you, because you wouldn't have necessarily had this conversation with Aaron, which is about what is the legal and what are the ramifications and how does this actually work, and having you understand this in order to be able to make a client comfortable with the decision to go this way, but also to be able to defend your choice with other realtors, with lawyers, with different practitioners, okay? So first of all, electronic signatures are not something that just anybody can sign for anybody. Let's clear that up right off the front. An e-signature is sent and assigned to an individual client through a secure email address. Now, if they've given out their email password, and that person happens to know, the mystery person with their password, happens to know that there's a real estate document coming, and that they're in the middle of negotiations, and that we need it signed right away, then yes, in theory, if you have given up your secure password, just like your bank PIN, somebody can misuse it, right? But the bank's opinion, if you gave out your PIN number, is, well, you're kind of SOL, right? So it would be the same idea with this. This information is shared with an individual through their email. It is assigned in. So if you have logged into your email, you have it. You're going to see as we go through it what the security certificates and things look like, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the idea is that this is tracked back to an individual login through an email account, and it is tracked to an IP address. So it is extremely secure, okay? The other piece of this is that CREA, whether you love or hate CREA, is irrelevant in this conversation. They are the Canadian Real Estate Association. They are the membership that form Organized Real Estate. They have 100,000 plus members. That's how many realtors there are in Canada. They're the ones that lobby the federal government for all of our rules, all of our bylaws, fight for FINTRAC, because FINTRAC would have been worse than it is if they hadn't been involved. They're the ones that got the RRSP program raised from 20 to 25, all of those types of things that, rebates, fighting amortization, lobbying the government, that's what they do. They have an entire legal department whose job it is to ensure that what we're doing is ethical. They're involved in the Real Estate Trading Act across Canada, working with governments, etc. So CREA's legal department has approved e-signatures. When you log on to RealtorLink, you can purchase DocuSign, which is just another version of .loop. I personally find it a little cumbersome to use, and it's very expensive, so why would you use something when we have something included in your KW program? But they're all vetted, they're all authorized e-signatures, okay? So the CREA legal team and legal department has vetted this, has investigated this, has spoken to, the Justice Department, they've talked to, banks and all of these types of people in order to authorize it. It's attached to RealtorLink. You can go into web forms and do it.
Like, are these challenging lawyers? lawyers have a different opinion?
Yes, we're gonna go back to that in a second, okay? So first of all, you have CREA that's on board, okay? So that's a huge thing, okay? Second of all, you have our own regulatory body, being the NSREC, not NSAR, they're two different things. We're gonna have that lesson another day. But NSREC, they're the regulatory body that have been empowered by the provincial government to enforce the Real Estate Trading Act in the province of Nova Scotia and protect all of the clients in the province from us, the evil realtor. Okay? Oh, there, hi Cecil. Oh, and he's gone. So that was adorable, I gotta tell you. So NSREC love e-signatures. Love them. Because they cannot be fudged. You can't edit a document. Let's think about faxing for a minute. Why anybody would think faxing is more secure than an e-signature, I have absolutely no idea, right?
It's way worse.
It's way worse.
Yeah.
The word liquid paper, well, that's two words, but liquid paper could easily show up in faxing and you would never know. You could have Bob, your uncle, sign it at the hotel front desk and you would have no sweet clue. Copy it enough times, you're going to cover over anything. Okay? E-signatures, if you edit the document, we're going to see this in a minute, it clears all the signatures. You can't go back and fudge it. Okay? It has a timestamp, an IP address. You know exactly to the second who signed it, when they signed it, and on what device they signed it. Yes, Kim?
Does it matter when you have a witness?
Yes.
I had a situation where my client wouldn't sign it until she was in the same room with her father, who was the witness, just in case.
You don't need a witness with .loop at all. .loop is the witness. No more witnesses.
We don't have to do that.
No more witnesses. So we'll talk about that.
Electronic stamp, please, for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The yeah, witnesses are no longer relevant. Okay. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. Remind me to go back to that. Okay.
Thanks. That's just making my day.
Okay. Kim's day is happy now. Okay. So we've got NSREC, who are basically the realtor police, who love e-signatures. Okay.
Hi.
So
It's okay.
no, I don't like not being able to see people. So we've got NSREC who love e-signatures, who think that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread in terms of auditing trail. So that's great. We've also got the major.
Sorry, any idea why Cheryl can hear you but not see your screen?
Well, I'm showing my screen. Can anybody who can you? I'm using .loop. Cheryl and I are. Can you guys type in whether or not? Carol, can you see my screen? Melissa, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
No, I don't have an answer.
There goes the prompt.
I don't have an answer.
Well, so she's doing wrong on her computer.
Yeah, it might be a setting. You might have blocked me somehow in the menu options that you've got. It's a gray screen. Yeah, there's not a lot going on it right now, right? I'll show. Can you see? I just switched over the .loop homepage. Can you guys see that?
Yep, we got it.
Okay.
Just go and click back on the link again.
Okay, perfect. I think that was Cecil. He's my only boy on the call, so I'm going to go with yes. Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking about NSREC that love it, okay? Then you've got major financial institutions such as the Royal Bank of Canada, Scotiabank, TD, Bank of Montreal, who all fully accept it, and their underwriting departments all the way through, who are the pickiest people in the world because they want the NOA and the T4 and the 10 pay stubs and whatever. They accept them. So with all due respect to an individual lawyer that you may run into who somehow feels that they are an authority above all of these other bodies, I would tell you to get another lawyer.
And all of the major banks.
Yes.
Yesterday it came out, Becca and I were there. Yesterday, one of the agents said that one of the mortgage companies was not.
Okay, so there are a couple of individual mortgage companies if you're dealing with a mortgage broker. I can't name them. I think they're the smaller ones who will not accept them yet. I'll be perfectly honest. I had a conversation with my individual mortgage brokers and basically said to them, because I'm very reserved, it's a problem. So I said,
Yeah, not yet, Jemima.
so I said to my mortgage brokers, this is how I do business. If you want my business, you better find lenders that are gonna take these, because this is the way it is.
Does the credit union take them?
I don't know, I don't deal with the credit union personally, so I
So I
don't know.
know they're not allowing you to do it in Quebec, so maybe if it's a company based in Quebec.
But most of our lenders aren't at
I know.
Quebec anyway, but like
I know.
the main ones, like First National will accept them,
Laurentian Bank.
right? Like First National is probably the biggest streamline that the mortgage brokers are using. They accept it. Yes, Rebecca.
I guess the thing is, now I'm thinking, and I don't wanna be like telling you what it is, but is the lawyer that you were having an issue with somebody that is used in this office regularly?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm sure the firm actually that, oh, it's McKell, yeah, I think it is actually.
Stuart McKelvey.
Stuart McCalvin.
We can straighten them out.
I mean, I said, I'll have, I mean, I can have a conversation with them. But the end result is that there's two aspects to this. There's accepting the electronic signature and there's accepting a loop. They're two different things. Sometimes they don't understand what happens when you're sending them a loop, okay? That doesn't mean they're not going to accept the e-signature, right? Because you can email, download the document and as a PDF and email it out, and then you're fine. Sometimes it's that they don't like that it's coming through this thing, right? So, but that's an education, and we are gonna teach people, right? But I mean, I'll be honest, I mean, well, Cindy sees my paper. I don't know the last time she saw anything with a handwritten signature on it. Right.
Yeah, that wasn't their problem though. Their problem is that it crashed their computers.
Which makes no sense.
Correct.
It's a web program.
That's right,
That's
but,
wrong.
and they're actually asking them to re-sign all the paperwork.
Yeah, so that's our asinine, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, and very subtle about my opinion on that. And I would have no issue having a conversation with a law firm on your
But
behalf.
my clients are still signing them all electronically. They love it.
So, the end result is, this is one, I mean, there's a lot of deals coming through this office with at least part or half of a document that's got an e-signature on it. This is the first time we're hearing about this. So, I don't want it to limit what you're doing. Ultimately, if you do end up with a banker who's refusing to fund a property because you're gonna have to re-sign it, then guess what? You're gonna have to re-sign it. Because it's just a fight you're probably not gonna win, right? But you're not gonna be the bad guy in this one. The clients are gonna be upset with you when everyone else has accepted it, right? When it's being nationally accepted. I just did a transaction with clients, just closed last week. They were on a sailboat in Croatia while we did the amendment.
Yay.
And they signed it on their smartphone, and we dealt with the worst sewer problems. There's still the excavator still in front of the house. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous, right? We had, 7-page amendments going through, and it was all done by phone. We had conversations in long detail by Skype and email about what we were doing and what we were signing, and they just went click, 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 click. As soon as they had web service in a cafe, they just touched it on their phone and done. I had my documents within minutes.
And I wish you all that you could go sailing in Croatia.
Yeah, because, but the idea being, we wrote the deal, and, naturally, my conditions, we ended up having to extend inspection because the sewer line wasn't even actually attached to the city main, so that was exciting. So naturally, had to have a few people in, have a few things happen, well, off they went. They booked, we're not gonna crash the deal, and I'm not gonna have to worry about time zones and fax machines and can they get printed and can they scan it. I don't have to worry about any of that, okay? And the deal was all done while they were away through .loop. So there are some extremely valuable things that when we talk about your value proposition, because that's really what this conversation is about, is increasing your profit per hour is my goal. I'm a huge tracker of my profit per hour. And second of all, being invaluable to your clients, where when they're talking to the other person they're at dinner or something, oh, we're in the middle of a deal, and they're like, oh, who are you using? And they're like, Mary from wherever. They're like, oh, oh my God, she's been over 10 times to sign documents, and she's running around 10 o'clock at night, and oh my God. And you're like, oh, their clients are like, oh, it's so easy. I'm at work, and I click on my phone, and I sign. And they're like, oh, really? Wow, my realtor doesn't do that. Okay, I want you to be the good one that they're talking about. Okay? As much as your clients love you, they don't love you at 11 o'clock at night when you need one initial on an amendment. They don't. And the reality is less and less clients, if you think about who your clients are, have printers.
That work. They all have printers.
Or that they can function with. So they all have computers, they all have tablets, but we are not in a printing, scanning, faxing world anymore. So how do you get to your clients? The other part of it is the ability to, and I'm very technical, as those of you who know me well know, to smoosh two signatures onto one document, which you can do in .loop. So that the two people who are in two different places now don't need to be faxed separately and have it rescanned and copied, et cetera, et cetera. It will somehow magically, I don't know how, and I really don't care, put the two signatures into one document.
Once
Okay?
it works.
It's amazing.
Right, so let's go back to the regulatory side. Okay, so the first part is I want you to have confidence that this is a perfectly legit thing that we are trying to teach you how to do, okay? Now, and the other ability of this is to create audit-proof files. If there was ever, heaven forbid, something that went sideways on a deal later on and there was a claim or NSRAC investigated or, heaven forbid, a lawsuit, you will have a paper trail using .loop that is irrefutable. I think Rose was at the meeting when I explained, I had a situation not long ago where I had sent over an amendment and I had sent over supporting documents after that to the other side with respect to water receipts and a system and stuff like that were looking to have installed. And they had agreed to the amendment and all this sort of stuff and signed it and sent it back, and then we sent over the other documents. On closing, they did not perform properly. And the other realtor, who will remain nameless unless you happen to see it when I open up that loop if I show you, and then you won't comment, claimed that he had not received these documents, and that's why they did what they did. So we had a holdback. Now, if I had emailed it, you know what? Really, he could say I didn't get it, and really, then you're in a he said, she said conversation. But you're going to see that the activity logs within the loop show that he opened and viewed the documents on a particular day at a particular moment. So the other lawyer, we took a screenshot of that and sent it to the lawyer's office. The other lawyer emailed our client's lawyer and said, clearly there was an error made by the seller's realtor. Here is the holdback money. Done. Conversation over, closed.
I do have a question about that, not to get off on a tangent, but
Yes.
I did ask another realtor because it was coming very close to the time that the amendment was up. I said, did you get it? And she said, yes. But then I went to the activity log and it just said shared. It didn't say that she had viewed it.
It shouldn't be that way. That might just be a technical glitch. Or she forwarded it to another email or something. It doesn't really make any sense. That would be I would potentially call the helpline. They have phenomenal web help, by the way.
Is it a phone number or just a?
There's both.
Yeah, I
there's
tried
the chat.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
took a
because
little
people can
long.
get tricky, right?
Yeah, there is a phone number that you can call because
on the page.
we have the premium service.
Okay.
Okay, there's different levels of .loop. So I used to use .loop before I came here, and I started with the free version. And then I upgraded to the paid version because there were other things that you got. You have the paid fancy version with more support and more yada yada as a result of the KW envelope. Okay, does that make sense, everybody so far? So just to start off, and I mean, it's not that I want to get caught in the weeds of this, but I want you to be comfortable and confident and understand what it is that we're doing. Okay, so you have the support of the major financial institutions who are the leaders, and with all due respect to the smaller lenders, I'm going to pick on credit union for a second, they do probably less than 5% of the mortgage business in the country. If Royal Bank of Canada, who's the biggest lender in Canada, and BMO and TD and CIBC and Scotia are going to accept it, then I'm comfortable with that, right? Banks are the worst for getting anything signed if they're going to take it, because the end result is that the reason banks were, in most cases, were very agreeable to it is that a PIN number is considered an electronic signature. Such as any time, and I'll tell you that NSAR, I'll just go back sideways a second, NSAR is also a supporter of this. For all of you that attend regional meetings, and I know you're not there because I'm on the board and I don't see you sitting there. So that's a different conversation. We'll have a different day.
Schedule polls. That's
Yeah, then
why.
one time, never mind.
Same day.
Yeah. Oh, and you guys were all at the other ones, really?
How often does that happen?
Once in a blue moon.
Once every 6 months. Anyway,
Should've only
last
been here
year,
6 months, I know.
last year I was on the traveling roadshow for regional meetings, and I went all across the province in 5 days, which was a lot of quality time with my fellow board members. Anyway, we had fun, and Tony, who is NSCR's legal counsel, he and I did the presentation on the validity of e-signatures. And NSCR's legal counsel and I taught at regional meetings across the province the validity of these two realtors. So I don't know what else to tell you in terms of it being acceptable. I'm chair of professional standards for NSAR, and we have no issues with it at professional standards. We know that NSREC doesn't have problems with it. So I want you to be comfortable and confident when you're talking to clients. If they wonder, that you can say, these are all of the regulatory bodies, these are all of the huge, massive institutions with legal departments, et cetera, that have vetted this and are prepared to authorize the release of millions and millions and millions of dollars of mortgages based on these e-signatures. So
It's good to have your fingertips when you run into this
Yeah.
issue. Right?
yeah, so with mortgage fraud and FinTrack and all of these things, that the banks are prepared to fund mortgages on these. To me, that right there is your answer that it's valid,
Exactly.
right? You can't go in and get someone to take $5 out of your account if they don't have the right info or they're not on your account. They're going to release $500,000 in a mortgage because they're worried about this e-signature? I don't think so. So have some confidence in the systems that are there to protect you. Okay? Everybody good so far? Okay, so now that we've had sort of our yada yada intro, because I have had some calls, so I wanted to address that up front to all of you, let's look at actually doing some real estate with it. How about that? Okay? So if you are using a tablet, you must have the app. Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
signed in, ready.
Okay. It does not work on Safari on the pad.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, it works on mine.
You can't import documents.
Okay, dragon.
You cannot, because
Yes, okay.
Safari, when you're on a tablet, you know how anytime you do something, you click and it goes open in, right? When you're in a web page, it has nowhere to get the document from because there's no desktop. Like there's no file place. I'm so technical. Anyway, long and short, you need the app if you're going to open up the document. Okay. So I'm not going to get caught in the specifics of the pad today right now because it transfers when you understand it on the computer. It makes perfect sense on the pad. If we do have time, I can do more specific pad training, or my next dot loop, I can do just iPad dot loop. Just iPad, right? But before I got caught in that, I wanted to make sure that we were all understanding the other pieces of it. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna sign in. So it starts off blue. When you're in KW, dot loop, it will become red.
This is like the very first, okay.
Okay. We're all good so far?
Yeah, just,
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay, so I happen to have more than one profile because I had a profile before I came to KW which stored my loops, and then now I have a second profile. So it gets a little confusing. Sometimes I switch from red to blue as I do this lesson because I have a fake version of myself in order to let you see the client side of it. Okay? So, yes.
Just a quick question. So when you do these loops and obviously the deal is finalized and all that, do you just leave them in your in dot loop, like kind of as a cloud?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have unlimited storage in
Okay.
your premium loop.
Okay.
So it's there. Now,
Cool. Okay.
we do, my selling team, we do actually use Dropbox. And we do download sort of final versions of things at times from there into Dropbox. And that's more of a territorial issue, I think, with us. It's your choice how you want to do it. The other piece of this, so I have,
Slap them all. It's all good.
Yeah, no. So what I'm going to do is so I have a variety of tests because every time I teach, I keep creating test loops. But I'm going to do a new test loop so that I'm not using an old test loop. So a couple things that I wanted to talk about is before I actually show you going in and out in the activity log and some things from your file maintenance and how to manage clients and stuff, is how to do this and maintain your personal service. How can we focus on profit per hour and being of value to your clients, right? So the first thing is understanding that so let's say I'm doing a list, let's talk about listings for a second, because everyone thinks about deals, like buys with .loop, but everybody forgets that you can actually do a listing as well. So let's talk about that one, because I think that's new information for some of you. And I apologize, but it is really flipping warm in this room.
Yeah.
I just turned it down.
Can you open the door a little bit?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, it's warm.
I thought it's just right.
I can't remove any more clothing and be presentable. Layla's going to get a parka. So when we're talking about listings, so everybody does their listing appointments probably a little bit differently because you've all got your own style and your own method, okay? So I'll tell you what I do, and then maybe you can figure out how that will apply to you, and we can figure out ways to manage it. So when I go to do a listing appointment, the first time I go, I'm going to look at the house. I'm usually, extremely rarely am I pricing the house the minute I walk in the door. I might have a general gist of what I think it's going to be, but until I see, do they have hardwood, do they not have hardwood, is it clean, is it dirty, does it need to be painted, oh my God, that counter is that fake wood laminate stuff, wow, that's gotta go. Like, till I'm in there, I don't know, right? So typically what I'm doing is I'm going on my listing appointment, we're meeting, we're touring the house, I'm having them tell me room by room all the upgrades that they've done. I don't know. Oh, we're gaining people. This is exciting. So we're going through and we're getting all the information. Oh, I see. Oh, how old's the hot water tank? Oh, I see this. Oh, whatever. We're talking about different things that are going to happen, and then I'm going to tell them that I'm going to go do my homework and I'm going to be back in whatever time. I'm going to ask whoever just joined if they can press mute on their thing because we're getting a lot of feedback. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to sit and I'm going to run their numbers and I'm going to do the worksheets and different things that I've done with them. And that's when we're really going to get down to brass tacks of listing. Does this make sense, everybody? So in a lot of cases, and I think it's the same for all of you, when your client tells you they're going to list, the paper is a formality.
Yeah.
You have the equivalent of a gentleman's agreement, for lack of a better word. You're starting to book photographers and stagers and whatever you're doing, and you're giving them their to-do list of homework or whatever it is. You got to paint this or declutter this or shampoo this carpet or whatever. You're not usually listing them that very night, right? So in some cases, you might have your listing documents with you. I don't know who I'm hearing. Just a second.
Whoever just hopped on.
No, it'll show me who's talking. Just a minute. Now it says I'm talking. But there was other people. Anyway, so when you're at that appointment, sometimes it's late at night, sometimes you've got one spouse and the other one is, you don't necessarily have them, it's not always convenient or the timing isn't right to necessarily do your listing documents that very second. Does everybody agree with that statement? Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. Cindy. No, I mean, I'm asking for feedback. What is that, how does your world work?
I'm prepared to sign, but I don't usually sign. I have it ready to go.
Yeah.
Because if they want to sign, they get it done.
Or sometimes you're going to say, and sometimes you might say you've given them a range of pricing, let's say you've given them a $5,000 to $10,000 range, and depending on what projects they do and when they're actually ready, you're going to finalize those numbers when you actually are going to go on the market. Make sense? Right? So Rebecca's my client. She's painting, doing this, cleaning, decluttering, yada, yada, yada. Then I go back in a week. We're getting ready to list. That's our list date. I go in and go, wow, there's 2 that just came on the market that are horrible, you're way better than, so we can push you up in price. Like sometimes you're not signing yet because you don't actually have the final number and all those little details, right? So if that's the case, then they might call you and go, okay, we're ready. And you bring in the photographer and you do that. And they may not even be there. They could be at work and you're doing this and you've got the key and you go in, well now how am I going to list them? Now you're going to hold back the listing till you can coordinate the 2 of them being at the same place. The kids have hockey and oh my gosh, and right? Right, so there's no reason why you can't share the listing documents. You've had lots of personal contact with your clients. Have them on the phone with you at home at 9 o'clock at night after they got home from hockey practice and put the kids to bed, and they're looking at the documents and you're going through them paragraph by paragraph, explaining what they're signing, exactly the same as if you were sitting in front of them. And then it's personal, Ellen. I'm not suggesting that you are leaving it with them and going, well, yeah, have at her.
Just click away.
I think for people like Layla and I'm in bed by 9.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're the 7:30 in the morning client call. I don't know, right? So all I'm saying, no, we're gonna talk about that, okay? But let's say you also have clients that you've agreed and then someone has to go on a business trip, you wanna sign the listing documents, and now you're faxing them to the hotel where he is or she is, and you're trying to get them back and match the signatures. This is way more complicated. This is not a value add that you're offering to your clients because just getting it on the market is feeling like an awful lot of work. Right?
Some people.
And this happens. These are, you all know this has happened to you, right? So if you were going through it and explaining it paragraph by paragraph and what you're signing and why you're signing it, and this is my obligations to you, explaining the listing documents, no different than anything else, what difference does it make?
None.
Right? If they're not in the same place, I've done it with clients where the only time we can coordinate is on somebody's lunch break, and I'll email them to them through .loop. They'll call me on their lunch break at work. We'll go through it. Bing, I have them signed and I have them submitted into the office. Okay? So you can make this as personal as you want. Okay? The other thing that we do when we're doing a listing is that we upload all of our documents into Dropbox, and we also upload them up into .loop, such as taxes, power, heating.
that?
It's PDF. Just import it. You can import anything you
I
want.
don't know anything about that,
Okay, so I'm going to show you the practical how to do that. Okay.
The Dropbox is really good to carry all
Yeah.
your stuff with you on your iPhone and
Yeah.
your smartphone because you can carry everything with
Now
you.
see when you're in Dropbox and you share the Dropbox link, there's no trail,
It's an app.
right? When you share a Dropbox link, it doesn't give you a confirmation. You don't know if they looked at it or opened it. It just goes. It's like this back-end email thing, but you can't look at it. So if I've sent you a PCDS and you're on the other side, I'd rather do it in Dropbox or in .loop because I didn't know you got it. Because I'm
do that?
going to show you.
Okay.
Okay. So the idea is that you have this way of verifying. Okay. On the flip side, when I'm working as a purchaser, I want to upload all the documents that have been sent to me by the other side, such as heating, power, covenants, condo rules, park rules, whatever it is, up into .loop, and I'm going to share them with my clients. They may not go to the other side, and that just might be for my file, and you'll see this in a second. And I then have them sign in .loop that they have seen the tax bill, seen the power bill, seen the covenants. That way, never, ever, ever can they say to me, well, my God, I didn't know the taxes were going to be that.
So what do you do? Just add a little signature box on the
Yeah,
bottom?
I'm going to show you. Okay?
Aren't you key?
Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. So number one, you're going to cover your tokus. Your clients also have their own cloud, as Chris put, of what their documents. So I had a client call me the other day and went, oh my God, can you send me that whatever again? I said, don't forget, it's still in .loop for you. She went, oh my God, great, thanks, click. And she just logged back in, it was right there.
I had a client who uploaded a document into the .loop. I didn't do that like a client.
Well, they have an account. They have a free account.
So it came onto my document when she uploaded. The only thing is I couldn't add a signature.
No, because she didn't give you the editing rights.
Yeah, so she didn't understand that,
Right.
so we talked about that.
Yeah, so there's different
Yeah.
privileges. Okay, so if everyone's got, yes, Kim.
Sorry, so when they sign the thing, that automatically makes them have an account?
Yes, free. They get a free account, so they can look at their documents forever and ever on them. Okay?
But they're blue.
They're blue, not red.
Question before we finish, but I don't want to interrupt, because she already has a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So what happens if you leave the company or you retire and you still have to keep these files?
You could forward them to another loop, right? Because, you know, it's not connected to your, I don't think it's connected to your active email. I don't know if your email has to be actually active or not, but you have to be able to log in. So whatever password you've set, that would be honestly a question for Erin as to what happens to KW emails.
It is.
We're not planning on anybody's, you know, departure, by the way. We're not building that plan in for you. Okay.
It's just good to know.
No, it is good to know.
Actually happens.
Well, I can tell you, I still have my Chalet Realty loops
But under which?
under Chalet Realty's email.
So you kept that email.
Yes. Well, but I don't know that it's connected to that email being active because it's just a login.
It wouldn't be. So-
They're two, I don't
there's
think,
no way you can.
Well, the reason that I'm asking that is because I'm still having problems with having the two emails, and I mean, I went to show Erin what was going on. And
yes.
so I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
between,
I honestly am probably not the right person to answer that question, but it would be a great question to ask, and if you get the answer, I'm happy to share it with everybody.
I want
How about
to do
that?
so.
Okay, so let's start with some basics. For some of you, this will be too basic. For some of you, you will get lost. So we'll manage the two pieces together, and hopefully there'll be something that you gain from all of it, okay? So first thing we're gonna do is I've logged in. If you recall a long time ago, before I was yakking, I logged us into .loop. So the first thing I'm gonna do, let's pretend that this is a brand new thing, okay? So they've made this extremely complicated for you. The big giant plus is how you add a loop, okay? So what a loop means is a connection of people that are connected to a transaction. So we connect our lawyers, our bankers, other people. We connect our water people, inspectors, depending on what I'm doing. We can add any number of people to a loop, okay? Ready good so far? So we're gonna start with the big plus. And it's going to ask me to create a loop.
Should we be doing this along with you?
Doesn't really matter. So it says create a loop. So we're gonna call it testing October 24, so I can keep my test loops.
Subsection Z.
I would recommend honestly that you do it as 123 Main Street, just like they say. I keep my transactions and my loops by property because I could have clients doing two different properties, a sale and a purchase. And if I do them by name, I'm going to complicate my life. Okay? Everybody good so far? So I'm going to go create loop. Ta-da! So right now, I have an empty loop. That sounds really weird, but
It's better than.
that's right. So here I have, at the beginning, you're gonna see the name of the loop. Then you see documents. And I can create different folders. I can have different people, okay? So let's say I'm gonna add a person, okay? So let's say, for example, I'm going to add the client, would probably be the first place that I would start, okay? So I'm gonna add a person. So the full name. So I'm going to pick on Russ because he's sitting in front of me. Manderville. Oh, phew. So, and I'm gonna go with that is correct. Okay. So his role, the next piece is to assign your role. So he's my buyer. Okay, you're gonna be my buyer. Now, you'll see that there's a box here that says send intro email. I don't do that. You can. It will say, you know, you've been joined to the loop, blah, blah, blah. When I send the first document to the client, I write the, here's, you know, da, 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 right? Instead of like, I don't know. I don't like the form thing that goes out. So that's a choice, okay? So I'm gonna add the person. Yes, Layla?
what about the add to my team?
Okay, so he's my buyer, so I would not add him to my team because I'm giving him basically administrative access to documents. So
Team would be your actual.
my actual team is my team, right? Someone that when I do a deal, Chelsea just logs into us and she has access to all the documents and I don't have to share them with her or do anything.
Unless I'm your team, I can't change.
Yes, I don't really want you in there, right? Because otherwise, you only see the individual document that's been shared, right? So if you're my client, so if Russ is my buyer, we might have taxes and draft amendments I may have sent over to talk about, but that doesn't mean that now Tracy's the agent on the listing. I don't want her to see that. And I don't want her to see my correspondence because there's an email system in here as well. So the team member sees everything. Okay? So I only want Tracy to see what I want her to see,
What you're sharing.
what I'm sharing, not everything.
And it shows that admin propeller is on my team. So
Right.
that means that Cindy. can
No.
access
You have
it.
to
No, you have to add sales@kwhalifax.com or listings@kw as a person,
I had her in front desk.
whatever her email is.
Yeah, because right now, nobody's added me, well, me personally,
Yes,
so I just go in and I click view document.
yes. You want to add sales or listings depending on what it is, right? Now, please note on this note, and I will tell you because I've had this discussion with several people who say, well, it's in .loop. So let me just, any of you who've been in my office and see the quantity of paper that might be in there. We are not just spending all day looking stuff up in .loop, looking to see whether you have added a new document to a loop. That is not possible. It's not practical. There's no way.
Yeah.
If you don't actually share it with us or actually include it, okay,
So listings or sales has to be part of our team
yes, you would add them.
properly,
yeah.
not just that.
Correct. Because now, I actually don't even do it that way because Chelsea, we have it because we want it to funnel through Chelsea and go into admin.
She
So
takes care of that.
she takes care of that and then sends it in an itemized list.
So the way it shows here right now is people. Admin propeller means nothing.
And really
I need to
ignore
go
it.
in and add
That's
Cindy
really,
as
that's
sale
really
rep.
Erin's ability to go in and do
But
whatever.
aren't they having to root through the whole thing, whereas if you get your individual things that you want them to have, you just share it with them?
Well, no, you add them as a team member, and
Yeah.
then when you share something, they get a notification, right? She would get an
Okay,
email
okay.
that says, Rose Seidel has just shared 123 Smith Street Amendment.
So I don't click her off, that it
Yes.
just goes automatically.
If
Oh,
there, you
okay.
would still add to share them, right? But she would have the ability to log in without you and go dig for something after. It's sort of the more practical
But
piece.
it's good to know what I'm looking for too.
Yes.
Because there's been times I open it up and it's like,
It's everything,
Yeah.
everything again.
So let's send her an email saying.
I know
just
Debbie
say
was
this on
saying
what you
just.
Well, when
send-
you share it, I'll show you
No.
what happens when you share something, okay?
Yeah,
So we're gonna add Russ, okay? So, and the reason is because he's gonna actually do this with us on the computer, okay?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna add my alter ego, okay?
should be good.
Okay, so
What is your email there?
that's my Gmail personal one. It's just so that I can show you, I'm gonna be another client, so you can see what it looks like on the other side, okay? So I'll make myself a listing agent. Oh, no. Didn't I just see listing agent? There we go. Okay, good so far? Okay, so now I have this little group of people, right? I could have 2 buyers, right? Now if I had a second buyer, actually let's add Rebecca in here for a second. Because I want you to see the 2 signature thing.
Yeah.
Okay? MAC?
Let's go back to real estate.
That's right. It's not an AW.
Is that right?
Real estate by Rebecca
That's what I got?
Yeah.
At,
kwhalifax.com.
I think I should get a point for remembering that, please, no. Just-
Thank you.
Okay, so, no, you're not a buying agent.
Can't forget it.
I know, right?
It's so catchy.
That's it.
Okay, so she's a buyer too, okay? Okay, so everybody good so far?
Yep.
Okay, so now, I'm gonna open another tab. So now there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. You can do what you want with it. In .loop, there are web forms that are in there. And you can use the templates in there, which I'm not gonna show you today because it takes longer and we are not gonna do everything in one day today, right? This is like a cumulative training thing, okay? I personally do my forms in web forms because I want my kits in web forms,
So much easier one.
okay? I like web forms because it auto-populates every document in the kit.
Exactly.
It does not do that in the templates, okay?
No, the templates are pain in the ass.
So we're gonna go into Realtor Link. Now you can do this on your pad as well. It doesn't make any difference. You can upload from your pad. I'll show you guys how to do that another time. I'm just flipping through logins of stuff because I assume you guys know how to get into these things. Okay, so
That's all you have.
I only have 426 kids. Okay, I'll just do a form. It doesn't matter. What?
He thinks you should have more than that.
You've been doing this a long time, you should have more than that.
Well, they go
You
back.
see, it was over 490 something deals at the bottom.
That's what I said.
With
I
that
said she's
loop
been doing this long enough.
Yeah, but I
I'm just
came
playing
from the
around.
carbon world when I started this
Yeah.
business here.
What's the what?
She was using
Carbon.
a chisel.
We had carbon
Hammer
paper when I
chisel.
started. Okay, so let's do an APS, or let's do a buyer designated, okay? So imagine this is in a kit, okay? So now when I've done this, and Rose has seen me do this, you'll laugh when I type these because it's really irrelevant what I put in here. I just need you to see something, right? So in this case, I'll be good and I'll say Russ Manderville and Rebecca McDonald of blah, 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 doesn't matter, right? Okay. Da, 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 da. I just need there to be stuff in here, okay? So there's something that you see populated, okay? So you go through, you fill out your form, okay? Now, this is the next part that's very important, okay? You're going to click download. And you're going to click read only. Very, very important. The form will look weird if you do not click read only, okay? So I click my read only.
So you're going to do that on each individual form?
Yes.
Can't you just print it as a PDF?
You can. I'm not going to get, sometimes it's the difference between a Mac and a not Mac, and I don't want to, you know, there's tweaks that you can get there. I want it as a PDF, so this is what it's coming up as. If you see at the top here, it's coming up as a PDF. It's downloading it as a PDF, okay? So depending on your operating system or what you're using, you might print it as a PDF, save it as a PDF, print, I don't really care. I want it to be a flattened PDF that you can't edit, okay? Okay, so here it is. Here's my PDF, okay? So I'm going to save this. Sorry, I want to rename it. So I'm going to save it on my desktop because I'm bad for that, but I could go right into Dropbox. Let's do that. Let's go Dropbox, okay?
I was just gonna save it. in
I gotta save
Dropbox
it.
and upload it through Dropbox.
Okay, or I can do it on my desktop. I'll just do it basic first, okay? So let's call it, what did I call this? October 24th is my property. Buyer designated. What? Buyer designated, whatever. Brokerage agreement,
BDA.
that's it, right, okay. Blah. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into dot loop. So in this center section, it says add from. Okay, so I click on here. My computer or your templates is going to take you into those KW templates, which we're not going to do right now, or the email. The email is complicated and you have to save the attachment first, so just skip that, okay? So I'm going to go from my computer, okay? It's going to ask me where.
Just add it.
Did I just have it?
Yeah, go back to where you were.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's my October 24th document. I'm going to open it. So there it is. Everybody see that there in the center? So it's in bold and it says to the right, not shared. Because I haven't done anything with it yet. Okay? Yes, Lil.
What is the difference between downloading all of the forms to?
it won't download directly into this. You can't go from web forms into this without saving it.
I thought that Erin had done it in a way that we can.
Yeah,
She's
so
talking
templates, she's talking templates.
Just out templates, that's not out of web forms,
This is different.
okay? Right.
So what is the difference from templates?
When you're in templates and you populate one form, it's not gonna auto put the address in the document into all of them.
You have to manually go and put every last.
And I'm not
detail.
interested in that. I like that web forms autofills stuff for me.
It's time saving and it's easier.
Yeah.
And then I also have it in my web forms
As a kid.
as a kit,
Yeah.
right? So,
Okay, I know the list to save.
okay, everybody good so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna now click on this document, okay? I know, I'm over time, so I'm gonna do what I can here. So you're gonna see here that it is a flat picture version of what we just used.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the question is what I'm gonna do with this document, right? So the first thing I can do is I'm gonna go through. If you've made a mistake, okay, and you're going through it with your clients, so this has happened to me. I've uploaded a form, I'm on the phone with Layla, and she goes, oh, the date's wrong under the term of agreement. You're starting and stopping today. Okay, it's a very technical, hissy sound I'm making. You have to then archive the document, fix it, and reload it. Okay, or you can cross it out. So let's say here, for example, Russ's name, let's say I spelled Manderville wrong. Okay, I'm gonna go under more, over here, more, and all these wonderful things drop down. Okay, so I'm gonna put a strike through on my document. So it gives me this little line thing to drag around. So I'm gonna put a line over Manderville. I'm gonna go back to more. I'm gonna go add text somewhere.
Oh, it's on the top, not in the drop.
Oh, there we go, thank you. So I'm gonna take my little text box and I'm gonna put.
Yeah.
He took her name.
That's new, that's new. I mean, we had that
Whether we're
discussion. Aaron,
So we're gonna call him Russ Capper, because he capped, okay?
You type right in that box.
I type right in the box. I can make the box bigger. Everybody looking, I can make the box bigger, blah.
Well, that covers over everything though when you do it bigger, doesn't it? Or
Well,
doesn't?
yeah, no, you have to do it proportionate to where you're
Yes.
putting it, right? But in this case, I don't really need it any bigger, okay? Okay, Rebecca, shush.
Sorry.
So, so then I'm gonna go back under more, and I'm gonna go add initials. And I'm gonna drag my initial box. You have to stay within the red lines. Can't go over here, doesn't like that. Have to stay inside the, just like when you're 4 and your kindergarten teacher told you to stay inside the lines, okay? I'm gonna click there. And now it says assign field or sign now. We are currently logged in as me. So if I sign now, it's gonna be me that signs it. Everybody with me so far? Because you also have to sign this stuff, by the way, okay? But you can sign it after it comes in from your clients, okay? So I'm going to assign the field, click down here. It gives me my list of people that I've added.
Do we have to sign it after it comes in from the client?
Yes. You need to close the loop, just like as if you were sitting in front of them. A document, an agreement is not binding unless you looped it. You don't have to sign an agreement of purchase and sale, but a buyer brokerage you do.
I'll buy a brokerage, yes.
Depends on the document. Let me clarify my statement, okay? So I'm going to assign this to Russ, okay? So it says RM, okay? Now I have 2 people on this deal, so that means I need to add,
But now it's not RM, it's RC.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'd have to go change his contacts. We'll fix that part after.
You're not doing all this in front of your client. You're going out talking about it.
No, you're not doing it in front of them. But like, if let's say, you know, the odds of my having my client's name wrong, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
I was just showing you how to change it. It's more likely that I change the date. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay?
Then. Your shit before you put it into.
She's just showing us how to put the box there.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. I'm showing you how to put a box in. Okay? So Rebecca McDonald is also going to sign this. Oh, you have the same initials. Isn't that lovely?
Thank you.
That's getting weird.
I'm very happy to be part of the
Okay, so then I'm gonna go through, so down here, I have the buyer. I wanna add another set of initials. Add it here, assign the field, Rebecca McDonald. Normally it's easier because your clients don't have exactly the same initials. To make sure you pay attention would be my, okay?
Actually, my buyer and my seller in my last deal.
You just have to pay attention to what you're doing, okay? Now, if I wanted to sign right now, I'll show you what it looks like. If I wanted to add initials,
Yeah, 'cause you do yours
if I
right now.
sign now, really?
Click it.
Break.
Click it.
Move it up higher.
It's not, I don't know what to tell you.
Move it up higher,
Maybe.
the box.
I don't know why it's,
Higher.
Move the box up higher, there you go.
there, that's what it is. Sign now. Ann De Silva. This is what your clients will see. It creates an auto computer generated signature.
So if you haven't done this on a seller brokerage,
Yeah.
yet, everybody else has signed it, can you physically sign it and
Yeah.
upload it?
Yeah.
So instead of going in and doing it electronically,
But
I
if your
can-
client sent it to you in back and .loop,
yes,
then I would just go add my signatures.
Okay, so that's fine to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Although
It's no different. You don't have to sign. People get confused about this. People mix up signing with witnessing. If you faxed an agreement to a client and they faxed it back, you didn't sign it at the same time.
No, it's just the dates, like there might be a week late.
Well, there shouldn't be a week late.
Well, there is. I didn't even think
But that's
of signing
fine.
it.
I don't want you to backdate something. I don't want you to fudge it.
Well,
You signed it
in
when you
dot
signed
loop.
it, right?
Yeah.
So whether you print it and sign it or whether you signed it in .loop, it doesn't matter, right? It is, you signed it when you signed it.
Yes,
Right?
okay.
So,
I have a question.
yes,
How do you get your signature on there?
you don't.
automatically
It created
It
this.
does it, yeah.
This is not my signature. You've seen my signature. This is not my
It makes it
signature.
up for you.
It makes it up.
And that's still okay?
Yes, because,
But you could draw it.
okay,
I think we're getting lost in semantics here.
okay, it says adopt and sign. Now, I could draw a signature with a stylus. If you've ever watched clients sign with a stylus, it's excruciating. And I would recommend that they just click adopt
Or
and
you try
sign.
it with your mouse.
Yeah.
Try that with your mouse. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, you just do this. You just do adopt and sign. So by clicking adopt, I have read and understood .loop's terms of use. So you can open that and read all the blah, 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 that you are bound by this signature, et cetera, which is all the legalese that your lawyer over there, Rose, is not paying attention to. So you can send them those terms of use if you'd like. Okay, so 99.999% of the time, you're gonna click adopt and sign. This is what your clients are gonna do. And then it's going to, where did I put it? Right there, AD. It says 11:07 a.m., .loop verified. Okay? Everybody good so far? Okay. So then you can also add checkboxes and stuff if you've messed up. That's all under the more. Okay? Add a checkbox. So I can put that over top of it. And then click it. You have to click it, or you're just putting another box on top of a box.
Exactly.
Okay? But if you've missed it, okay, so what I'm saying is you filled out this whole thing on web forms and missed one checkbox. Or your broker emails you and says you did not pick a checkbox. You can send the form through, add the checkbox, and then here, add initials later. This is like later. And assign the field and have them sign that they added that checkbox later.
Send that one piece back.
Yes. Yes.
How do you do that without going to something, I figure, like, when you go back in, sometimes it gets rid of everything.
No, it's a flattened document. It's done. You upload it as a new PDF or print it or scan it or email it to yourself and upload it as a new document.
Again.
Yeah, so let's say you did an agreement of purchase and sale and you hand wrote it and it comes into the office and your evil broker says, you've missed initials here. No, never. So you could upload that one piece of paper, loop it over to the clients to have that corrected and sent back. How easy is that?
Very.
okay?
And can I ask you a question before
Yes.
you go away? I went over to the web kits and I went to download kit form flattened.
Yes,
Where do you go from there?
open in, and we'll go
Then
there.
where do you go to the open in here?
Okay, hold on. We're gonna do iPad in a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll see you in a second. So my point is you can use this after, right? Like to correct something. Okay, everybody good so far? Okay.
Oh, I got it. Yes. Got it.
Now, let's say I put these initials here and go, oh, I don't want initials there.
Well,
I can go over to the X and remove the field. I like the eyebrow up from Terry.
what you talking about, Willis?
We're very expressive here.
Yes, unfortunately, the people online are not seeing the funny faces in here. Okay, so you would go through, add your initials, yada, yada, yada. So, okay, here's another subject of debate. If I am e-signing, do I need to fill out the signed, sealed, and delivered piece? I'm going to give you my opinion. My opinion is no. Because I might type that, if I know they're going to sign it exactly the same day,
Oh, yeah. I've had
if
that
I send it to you at 9 o'clock in the morning and you're going to loop it back to me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then I'll fill the date in. If I'm sending it to you at 11 o'clock at night and you're going to send it back to me the next day, then I'm not, because my dates aren't going to
I had
match.
that problem with the
I had
counter
that
offer.
happen.
Yeah.
The counter offer was open until a day later, but they all signed it that day, but it was open till then.
Open
They
is
weren't
fine.
signed.
Open is fine. This line here says signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
I am dating when, but that's going to contradict when they dated. The dot loop signature is the date.
Okay,
It has a date built into it.
It has a date built into it. You're double signing it,
Okay, good.
okay?
all right.
So-
You do not put in the
If
date.
I would do it if I knew you were signing that same day.
But on a counter offer,
I counteroffer, well,
you have it open until such and such a date.
no, but you're mixing up
That's
signing and
different.
open.
We're signing here, we're signing.
Signing, not how long it's open for.
No, I know that,
It's just
but I put down in the, it's open for acceptance till, and they wanted to send off and sign it to the buyers, because they're doing both sides. So then I wrote down, because they were gonna sign it, so I had to put it down, well, I put it down as the latest date I could do, which was the next day, but they ended up signing it that evening,
Okay,
so it was incorrect.
no, it's not. Because you're mixing up open. Something can be open for a week and I can sign it today.
I dated their signatures. The buyers
Oh,
accepting it.
oh, yes, no, you
So-
don't date people's signatures.
No.
Dot loop doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can leave that blank
Yes,
then,
yes,
Yes,
on the counter,
yes.
back away from it.
on the acceptance, yeah.
Dot loop automatically
Dates
dates
it.
it when they sign.
Yes.
or
Yeah,
when
it
they-
stamps
Yes.
Perfect, okay.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Okay,
So you don't wanna be caught in making an
I
error either,
think we need a few more dot loops, do you mind?
Yeah.
lessons?
Yes.
I have one a month scheduled. Okay.
because if I came to this again, it would really sink in.
Yes, and I can do them more frequently if you guys need them, okay? Because I don't want, my next one, we were just doing the November schedule, which we were going to discuss with Lola because she's the queen of education. So
yeah, but it's-
I may have to do it like next week for you so that
Yeah.
we keep
That's
going, okay?
That's fine.
Next Friday.
So if we add,
Because
hang
it's
on,
a
hang
late
on.
month.
yeah, you're gonna forget. So if now I wanna add a signature, drag, okay, remember, can't go outside the line. I have to stay inside. So here's where the two initials make sense, because when I assign the field to Russ, it says Russ. When I assign the field to Rebecca, it's gonna say Rebecca. Okay? Everybody good so far? So now, let's say I'm done, let's say I'm not adding anything else, okay? And I'm gonna say save. Then it tells you it's saved. Okay, I love that. Then I'm gonna go, okay, I'm done, I'm gonna go back. So this document has not been shared yet, would you like to share it? Now, it would depend if I only am dealing with one document or not. If I'm doing 4 or 5 documents in a pile, I will not share them then, I will share them all at once. So I would say no, because I don't want to send a separate pile of individual documents to a client. I want them to get, right. So now, let's go in here. Now I'm going to share this with, I'm going to click, I went back in. So now do you see up here, I'm turning my screen, a gigantic one up there. At the top, it says dot loop verification signature, blah, 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 blah. We're good with the blah? Okay. So when you submit a file, I need to see this. if you've looped it. Don't extend your document and print it without the piece, okay?
How did that pop up?
Because I signed it. Right? There'll be another one that stamps on top of it after Russ and Rebecca sign it. But I'm going to show you this. This will keep Rose, this will keep your people happy. Okay? I'm going to click on this. This is my dot loop certificate. AD signed it at 10:13 a.m. This is the ID, this is the IP address, password protected, and it has been accepted.
And also you get an email stating that too.
Yes. No, but in terms of if you need to prove that this is what it is, this is the
Yeah.
code, it's all tracked, etc. Okay?
Get the emails too.
You were doing the buyer agreement, so what did you sign?
I signed as the
initial
agent.
document.
I signed as the agent.
Okay.
Okay?
That's
Yeah.
why you could.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
ma'am, that makes sense.
Okay, everybody good so far? Okay, so now I'm going to share this. And now see, this is the conversation we were having about who gets it. So let's say, like Anne, I made Anne De Silva, I made myself the listing agent. No, it hasn't been signed yet by the buyers. Let's say this was a deal, okay? I'm not going to share this yet with the listing agent until I have it back. But it lists everybody in my people, right? Now you'll see here that it says I've assigned 3 fields, okay? So I'm actually gonna get, I might get you to log in on my screen so they can see the sign, okay? Because I can't pair you to the big,
And
yes.
you said view only for the listing agent. Can you
Yes.
change that at any time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so for here, 3 fields assigned to Rebecca and 3 fields assigned to Russ, okay? So I can change it to view only, can sign, can fill in sign, or can fully edit. For clients, generally speaking, it's only can sign, because you really don't want them fiddling with your documents. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm just off track. And then after that, but I might send to an agent that they can fill in sign so that they can share it and have people sign it and keep it in the loop.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Okay,
Got it.
makes sense?
I went back to sign it.
If Terry, if you're the listing agent, I would probably give you the ability to fill and sign so that you can add signature fields for your buyers, and then you can share the loop.
Why wouldn't you add the signature for the buyers yourself?
I don't know, I can't. I don't have their email addresses, I don't have any ability to do that.
Okay.
Okay?
But
And-
you'd allow the other agent to do that.
Yeah, and if not, they have to download it and save it as a PDF and re-upload it into a new loop, like it doesn't actually stay in the loop. Okay? Okay. So I'm gonna share, now I'm gonna click share, okay? Now here when it says type message, so this is where I would say, hi guys, blah, 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 whatever, as we discussed, here's the whatever, call me if you have any questions, happy face, whatever, right? Makes sense so far? Okay, so I'm gonna share it. Now, it says the document's been shared. So now, right now, Rebecca and Russ's phones are gonna light up, and they're gonna get a notification that says, urgent. Anne has shared a document that requires your urgent attention. Okay, so I'm done here for a second, okay? So- No, but no one can see your screen to see what it looks like. So I'm gonna open up Safari so that I don't close my screen, and we're just gonna let Russ sign, because I want you to see what a client sees.
Just click there and your initials in there. Adopt and sign.
Okay, we're gonna go for 5 more minutes, guys. I apologize for over time. So
That's fine.
Do you want me to sign in here?
yes, sign in as you.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's a lot of
Russ
information.
I've done it
Vanderbilt.
with my clients
You
right
need to make
first.
sure you get right on your doing your documents before it ever gets shared and copied.
Oh, yeah. You just gotta make
I'm not used to this
Nothing
keyboard.
like
An offer in 20 minutes. This is taking back to 2 hours.
What? No way.
No, it's
What are you
very
talking
easy.
about?
Gary?
It's just so much fiddly stuff.
No.
Make sure you get it
No.
right before
No,
you share it.
I'll tell you a quick story while Russ is logging in. I recently did a deal where I had an amendment come in, it was only open for like 3 hours, it was a pain in my arse. And I was at Costco, I think I told Rose this story. I was at Costco shopping for university stuff for my daughter. My clients were leaving the next day in order to
Waving it up.
to go away, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, this flippin' amendment came in, and I was in Costco, came in my phone, that we were good, and so I got the amendment in from the other side by email, I opened it, wait. I want them to see what you're doing. Just a second. So the agent sent me the email, I opened it up on my phone into .loop, on my phone walking through Costco, I said to my boyfriend, just hang on a second, just give me a minute, he's used to me working while we're doing other things.
You have a boyfriend?
Doing it.
And we are recording this.
I know, it's funny too.
So I added the
Whatever
signature
gets you going.
on my phone to my client, shared it in .loop on my phone, carried on grocery shopping. I got the email and that they had signed it, and then I shared it through .loop to the other agent. I never left Costco. Your profit per hour will go up when you do not have to print, drive,
It is cool.
visit. It's unbelievable.
If I am using .loop and the other agent refuses to use .loop, then
They can't. It's an email. All they have to do is open it. They don't have to sign. They can
No,
print it and take it and carbon
That's right.
do it with a knife. I don't
they're
care.
scanning it back to.
Not my problem.
I just
I don't
deal
care about
with
their
Richard
profit
Payne.
per hour.
I didn't use .loop. He was using .loop, and you know, we just emailed him the stuff back because our client wasn't in. I wasn't using it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Oh, you're gonna
used
be-
.loop ever,
Why is
so.
your
Yeah, I was a little bit
Because-
leery at
go
first
back,
because
just
I
go
didn't
back,
know what the
'cause,
signature aspect and stuff.
No, I just opened it and you told me not to. Do anything.
Everything came back to me through .loop
is
though,
being modified by Rebecca?
and it worked great.
What?
I hated the signature, electronic signature thing, but.
Rebecca?
Are you in
at
it?
the end of the day,
Yes.
the way she
Get out of it.
Get out of it.
Why does she have to get out of it?
I don't know.
I don't know, because you're both trying to sign at exactly the same
So I have
time.
a husband and wife deal, and they both got their.
Because you're probably
computers
signing-
Well, one has to take a
One
minute.
at a time.
One at a
Well,
time.
it's funny, well, I don't know, because I sent to my people in Red Deer, I sent it to her address and I sent his address.
Yeah, you have to send it
coming
to two
back at
different
different times.
addresses, yeah.
So they can do it separately on separate computers and
Yes.
get it back double signed on.
Yeah,
your-
you're done?
Yes.
Yeah, once
Okay.
it, get the
And she'll,
books,
each
yeah.
time one signs, she'll get a notification saying Rebecca is signed, then she'll get a notification saying he is signed. And then
Okay,
they
here we
say
go.
they all
Okay,
sign,
everybody-
you do it.
Okay, hang on, don't click it.
Oh, you do it.
Start signing. Oh, people
Okay,
listen.
so this is what your client sees,
You have to
okay?
click on
So
that
this
bar.
is, okay, because your first question a lot of times is, oh, my clients aren't very technical, they're not very user-friendly, they don't know how to use computers, and, okay, honestly, you need to be able to click a mouse, okay? Okay, Rebecca, never mind what you just said. You're serious, it's true, you're right. So the client, this is what the client sees, okay? They get into this by going through their email. It'll say view document and it'll open up exactly looking like this. So your client goes, oh, so you're talking about it. You can scroll through and read things to them as we talked about. And when it says click here, start signing, you go, okay. And then it says sign. So I'm Russ right now. And I go click here. And now it says, oh, Russ Manderville, adopt and sign. Adopt and sign. Sign. Then it says, confirm that you have actually signed this document. Ta-da. This document has automatically been shared with Anna Silva. Okay. Now, I'll go back to me. I'll go back to my loop. Now it says right here that it's signed.
Yeah.
If only one of them had signed it, it would say waiting on others.
Wait on signatures.
You already signed through your phone, did you? Or-
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
When one signs at one end and the other one signs at
Somewhere else.
someplace else.
It smooshes it. We're gonna look at it.
It does.
So let's look at this, very technically smooshed document. I have both signatures together on the same document.
A question, Ann.
Yes.
I send out something to a buyer, and I have the buyers listed and the buyer's lawyers listed all separately. And then when I wanted to go share it, it puts them all underneath the buyer's lawyer. There's no individual checkboxes for just the buyers, but when I actually shared it, those checkboxes showed up.
I'll be honest, I'm not actually processing what you're telling me. I think I'd have to look at it.
Okay,
I admit it, I'm not getting it.
okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
So imagine that I'm now signing this after, right? And go, oh, now I need to sign it, like Rose said. Then I can add a signature, I can add myself after. But if we go back, I've got the dot loop verification. Now it's added the rest of them to my signature trail.
Okay.
Bless you,
Bless
sis,
you.
okay?
Can't let it sneeze.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back. So I'm gonna go back to my loop. Now, if I wanted to share this with the other agent, I would go into it. So I know I look at it, everybody signed it. I'm gonna click share. I send it to Mary, the agent, and go, here's my client's offer, blah, 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 it's all there. Okay, everybody good so far? I'm not gonna do that. Now, I'm gonna go back to the loop because I wanna show you a couple features because I'm really off schedule, I apologize. I had another meeting at 11 and I'm way off track. If I go into my messages, it would show me all the correspondence back and forth with all the different people.
Oh, no kidding.
Okay? I can send a message through there without sending a document. So my clients that were in Croatia, I use this instead of email because it gives an auto pop-up on their phone as soon as they're in Wi-Fi that they have this urgent message from me versus filtering through all their email.
Is it only when they're in Wi-Fi?
No, whenever their phone is, like, but they were not on 3G is my point when they're in Croatia, because the data roaming would be, incredulous, right? But
That's okay, Russ, we're all good.
You want some?
so the other thing, okay, now here, I want to go to my activity log. See this button right here, everybody? This is this is the most important thing in the entire world, activity log, right here, okay? Circle, circle. I'm going to click on here. This is going to show me every single thing that's been done, who did it, when they looked at it, when they shared it, when they opened it, when they whatever.
I was wondering how it.
Can you go into your document and try and send it to somebody else now and put signatures on it? Can you do that?
Yeah. So if I go back to the loop.
So, because then you're modifying it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what.
So if I want to modify this, if I want to add a signature, this will mess you up, right? If I'm working with an existing document versus saving this and downloading it and uploading it as a new file, when I go to add a signature, it says, to protect your privacy, oh, no, this is not the one I want. It's not going to do it. It's because it's me.
Yeah.
I'm adding. It's if I delete. Let me do it this way. This is, let's say I want to take Rebecca's signature out of here.
Because she just died.
No, because she signed in the wrong place. We're not killing off the clients, okay? So I go here and go, I want to remove the field. I am creating a new document version. Because I'm about to modify, it's going to basically wipe this whole document clean
Of all signatures.
of all signatures.
Nice.
So you cannot fiddle with this. That's why it's tamper-proof.
Okay, so if you have a counteroffer that's just been signed by your sellers and sent back to you, how do you send that out if you want to add off? No, like it's.
Why would I be adding anybody?
You're not gonna be adding.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of, because.
You're coming up with scenarios that are great but don't exist.
No, they do exist, they happen.
But if you received something, like I could have something from my email. So here's an example. Let me find, okay, so here's an inspection on, never mind the property, okay? So I'm gonna go back to my loop. I'm gonna do this quickly and then we gotta close. No, I don't wanna save my changes, okay? So I wanna add a document. So I click on add a document. Add it from my computer. I'm gonna upload an inspection.
Because you're doing an amendment now, you want to send your
Yeah.
inspection report to the other.
Or I want my clients to see it, or any number of reasons why you're uploading it. Now, I will have probably edited it on my iPad and added circles and highlights and stuff, and that's a different class. Don't have time for that one today. So I'm gonna click on this. I wanna be sure my clients have read it or the other side has read it. I'm gonna add some initials to the document and carry on, okay?
Love it.
So I have everything in my loop signed. I have power bills, I have tax bills, I have amendments, I have anything that I'm attaching to an amendment, I'm
And
adding.
I know what it is. It was when you're working with both buyers and the sellers. So I had it signed by the sellers. I had to send it off to the buyers. And then it came up with that thing.
It was probably how your privacy settings were set in terms of each person's ability, to edit, right? And it might be worth, honestly, you might want to actually potentially create a second loop if you're double ending. Because I don't know that I want the potential boo-boo factor of sharing something with the wrong person, I would probably have a second loop.
I did, I had two different ones where I double.
One A, one B.
Yeah, I don't know, want buyers, 123 Smith Street, sellers.
I have
Address
separate,
and name.
but they're both on the same property.
I don't have an answer specifically off the top of my head, I'd have to chew on that one for a second. How about that, okay? So, anyway, the long and short of this is there's still, like, I've got about another 10 hours that I can do with you here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick question.
Yes,
Initials. Is the activity log just as good as having the initials? Like,
No.
I can see that my clients have opened and read it.
I want the
Just going a step
signature,
further.
because I want, a signature is acknowledging the content.
Right.
And agreeing with the content.
But in terms of like, what has to be done, I don't have to have my clients.
No, but if I'm going to take the time to share it in a loop, it takes, unlike Terry thinks of 2 hours, it takes about 2 seconds to add initials.
Yeah.
So I will, I'm just gonna look at you because you're right there. I'm going to get them to sign it because then I have it. So I'll show you very quickly.
You don't pay if you sign taxes, Rebecca.
Right.
Like, most
No.
agents don't,
Just,
but,
I would.
but it's a good idea.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Where is the
But your
file?
proof it's sent in here anyway, that's the part.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into a file here. This is a deal I did. If I go, you're gonna see my amendments, my PCDS, I sent the Connaught receipt, I sent the receipts, the property tax, etc. You're gonna see that they're all signed. So there were questions about the PCDS, there was a sewer line bill, and Kim, I'm just gonna get you to shush for a second because there's not enough feedback here. The invoice, etc. All of this stuff has been signed by my client. So if I look at it, my client signed it.
I like your folders too, to separate.
I have to because I have no ability to keep anything straight in my head otherwise.
What did you do for?
I have folders.
Okay.
So to add a folder, it's very complicated. I go over to add folder.
Can you say that, excuse me, can you say that again?
And do you just drag them into the folder?
Yeah, so if I want, I'm gonna go back to my test folder. Okay, I'll go back into my,
Folders just to keep your documents separate. It's easier.
Yes.
Organization.
Yeah.
I just put all my documents in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do whatever works, like it doesn't matter.
But
whatever
this
works
is a
for
good
you.
idea though.
right, so I don't know why I'm logged out of myself here. Anyway, I can do PCDS, amendments, offer, inspection issues. You can do whatever you want, right? I like to keep it separate because then for myself personally, because I have other people in my loops, they know where we're at versus it being one big giant clump.
Your clients see everything that's in
No.
your loop?
No, they only see what I've shared with them.
Okay, good.
Okay, does this help you guys?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so there's more. We're not gonna get it done today. Layla has a question? No.
No more, my brain is.
Yeah, your brain is gonna start to blur. You have to play with this, okay? You need to set up test loops, you need to send it to yourselves as clients, you need to see how it works so that you can explain to a client how to do it, okay? We have to do iPad training on it, we need to talk about how to do it in person with a client, we need to,
Yeah.
there's other pieces to it, how to work the log, how to do different things. I can't do any more today, honestly. Okay, I hope you got something helpful out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. And for the people that are online, I hope that you're also getting something from it as well, not being here.
Cecil has a question.
Cecil asks question, should Cheryl add me as part of the team? Yes, that would be simple. Then you're not sharing passwords because technically, although I know you're married and you probably are, but technically you're not supposed to. So that way you would have a trail that you looked at it individually, right?
Susan, she doesn't.
Right? Does that make sense? Like even as a team, Richard would log in as his because then it shows that he looked at it versus it always showing that I looked at it.
Exactly.
If he logs in as me, then it makes it look like I did it.
But
I mean, I trust my partner, but it's a question of I can't remember what I did yesterday, never mind who looked at what,
Yeah.
right? So I'd like to know who did what when. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I got for you for today, guys. Thank you so much. And this session will be recorded, downloaded, and uploaded into whatever magical place Erin puts them. Okay? Yes. Okay?
Bye-bye.